خير. والآن المحور الأول للمؤتمر التكنولوجيا الصحية والطب عن بعد برئاسة الدكتور جورج كوالسكي.
Hello, nice to meet you.
Hi, George. How are you?
Wonderful to meet you, Dr. George. You can head the first agenda now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you very much for having us on. With regards to the actual first element of the agenda, it's the actual revolutionizing healthcare delivery. And I have with me Dr. Michael Watts from Bloom Health. I have Professor Dr. Karine Sargsyan, and that's Scientific Director of Translation for Sinai Medical Center, and also Professor Yashuda Hirata, who is a Professor Graduate School of Engineering Department of Robotics in Tokyo University. So may I first of all introduce them all to you all, if that's all right, please.
I will excuse you, George, just to be on time. We prefer to doing some shortcut in their speech, except our apology because we are delayed from the VIP and from some technical support. We hope so you can wrapping the sessions within the time. I know it is difficult, but do your best. All of you do your best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So do we actually have, at this moment in time, I believe 15 minutes, is that correct?
Yes, 15 minutes for each person, but now within the remaining time, I think 8 minutes, 9 minutes for each person. Okay, then we'll be closing.
No problem at all. In that case, then may I first of all hand over to probably Michael, if that's all right, Michael, as we know each other. I'll hand over to you, and you have the first 8 minutes, if that's all right.
That's great. Thank you, George, for handing over.
I think, the agenda is starting with the Professor Hirta because he had we have some responsibility. He will be the first speaker. Hirta from Japan. Welcome you in our conference.
Okay, so
Hirata.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so thanks for introduction. So hello everyone. So I'd like to share my screen. Okay. Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to introduce my research activities. So, but I have many slides, but I will shortcut my presentation. Okay, so I'm a robotics researcher, and I'm developing the assistive robots for human healthcare and well-being. And today I'd like to introduce the several robot system, but I would like to shortcut this part. So this is my past research. I have developed the cycling wheelchair. So this is a very interesting wheelchair. So they are paraplegic patients, and they are very hard to operate the normal wheelchair, or they cannot walk by themselves. But this is a pedal-driven system, and by using this pedal-driven system, many people can pedal. So this person is the paraplegia patient or quadriplegic patient, but they can pedal. So by using this kind of pedal-driven system, so at first, many patients have a negative feeling because they have a disability in the lower extremity. But by using this kind of assistive device, many people think that, oh, I can do it, and enjoy the several training, or many people can enjoy shopping, traveling, or some people enjoy sports activities. So I think that the feeling of the people is very important. So if people think that, oh, I can do it, so many people try to join the many activities. So that's why I'd like to develop this kind of robot system. So today I'd like to introduce the Japanese project, Japan National Project. This is a moonshot project. So what is a moonshot? So moonshot is launching a rocket to the moon. So John F. Kennedy, President of the United States, announced the Apollo program, and his unprecedented challenge to land a man on the moon was realized. So many people think that this is a moonshot project. So in Japan, the Japanese government started the moonshot R&D program. And the Japanese government set the ambitious goal to attract people and promote challenging R&D project with the aim of resolving difficult societal issues. And our goal is to create a future society in 2050. So Japanese government set several goals. So from the goal 1 to goal 10, so there are a lot of goals, so such as avatar robot development, ultra-early disease prediction, AI robot development, and so on. And our project was accepted this AI robots part. So this is a moonshot goal 3. So the goal is to realize AI robots that autonomously learn, adapt to their environment, evolve in intelligence, and act alongside human beings by 2050. So our project was accepted under the human-friendly robot system or assistive robot system. So that's why now we are developing the many kinds of assistive robot system. So this is the title of the our project, Adaptable AI-Enabled Robot to Create a Vibrant Societies. So as I mentioned, if we can develop the very nice robot system, so people think that I can do it, or I want to try blah, blah, blah. So I want to develop this kind of robot system. And this is a vision of the society of 2050. We call this society as a smarter, inclusive society, where AI robots are present whenever they are needed, like shared bicycle or like eyeglasses. And to achieve a smarter, inclusive society for all in 2050, so AI robots will be installed in public facilities to support people who need assistance and support by 2040. And we focus on innovative supports in nursing care facilities, home, and realize community-based support with AI robots by 2030. So now we are now in the 2024. So by using the remaining 6 years, we'd like to develop the new robot system. So for realizing this kind of smarter inclusive society, so we set the 3 sub-goals. So first one is the human-robot co-evolution AI, and adaptable AI robots, social implementation AI, and so on. So, but today we don't have enough time to explain all of the things. That's why we'd like to focus on only this part, physical well-being part. So this is a new hardware of the robot system. So we'd like to propose a new concept of the robot system for assisting the humans. So you may know about Dragon Ball manga or Chinese story. So we call this kind of vehicle as a flying nimbus. This is a cloud type flying vehicle. So it comes when the user calls it, and the direction, speed, and attitude can be controlled by the user intuitively. So we, inspired by this cloud type flying vehicle, we'd like to propose a new concept of the robot as a robotic nimbus. So we'd like to develop the robot system like a cloud, which provides support tailored to the person condition. And we'd like to develop a flying nimbus. It comes as a robot comes when user need it and expand the user's ability. So now we develop the several kinds of nimbus robot system. For example, we'd like to support the walking of the human by lapping the by using this kind of robot system, or we develop the wear type robot system. So this wear can change the stiffness of the robot system, stiffness of the wear, or final one is the expandable robot system. So in this case, we can support the standing up, sitting down, and so on. So now, by using this kind of robot system, we'd like to support the in the healthcare field. And we'd like to support the activity of the human being. So by using the several robot system, we'd like to support the wearing task, eating task, or toileting task, and so on. So, I skipped this part. So by using the virtual reality system, we can create the illusion of the human, and people think that, oh, I can do it. So because by using the VR illusion, many people think that I can do it by using the game or walking in the cross street or something like this. And finally, we'd like to implement our technology to the society. So we analyze the human's motion, human's ability. So by using this AI technology, we can measure the human's activity, and we analyze the human's ability. So based on this kind of analysis, we can decide which robot is good for this person or other person. And then finally, we can apply the robot system or sensor system to the human being. So we call this kind of collaboration as the ROS Healthcare. So this is a robot operating system for healthcare field. So we can connect the many robot system, sensor system, interface system, and then we'd like to support the human being. And we'd like to accelerate the social implementation together with the many company or institute in the international institutes, WHO, and so on. Okay, so today I introduced the Moonshot project, and finally we'd like to develop many kinds of robot system. So thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, Professor Hirata. Thank you very much indeed. On that note, may I now pass over to Dr. Karin, if that's possible, please?
Sure, it is possible. I'll put a timer for 8 minutes. Otherwise, I will not be able to do that in 8 minutes. Because, you know, women like to speak more than men. So, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Come on. And now you can see my presentation. So
Yeah.
what I gonna speak okay, what I gonna speak about is about the future and how the innovation trends are affecting our future in general. So to give you an idea why this is me on a TED or TEDx stage, speaking about that stop being realistic, smart goals are not bringing us somewhere. And this throughout my career helped me to understand that sometimes people see what you do, like you grow some medicine. And what I do is actually large-scale biotechnology research that many people don't understand, even doctors don't understand what we do. Nevertheless, it has a great effect on the backside on the patient if we are successful. So although the popular view of the science looks like this, it doesn't scare me and it doesn't scare many of the researchers. And being realistic sometimes maybe not really very good, because Lord Kelvin, who was the president of Royal Society of Medicine in end of the 18th, was speaking about that radio has no future. Heavier than air flying machines are impossible, and X-ray will prove to be a hoax. Nevertheless, we know that he was wrong in all 3 points. So open-minded approach to development and to research and to innovation is very important to make a real difference. Well, fantasy is more important than knowledge. And this slide is about that in 1950s, the moment when they started to film the very first Star Trek, they have had automatically opening and closing doors. They have had some kind of devices like mobile phones. They have had video conferencing. And nowadays we have all of those that they have had that time, and it was really considered as science fiction. And what we don't have, unfortunately, we don't have still the Dr. McCoy's scanner for in 5 minutes to do absolute diagnostics. And this is my job, what I'm working on, to be able to diagnose as fast and as precise as McCoy could. So we can laugh about, but you know, predictions are so many and existing even in Simpsons, showing that Trump became a president, Lady Gaga flew, Richard Branson came to the space. So somehow, human beings can predict what is the future bringing, and the AI and the new technology learned from us. And this is what I'm going to show you doesn't exist anymore, because after first time I showed it in an international stage, Amazon fixed that problem. So the example how AI is working and how it's going to work also in our environment is, it was a time like 2 years ago, if you would write down, you need a circular glass cutter. Amazon is usually offering is people who bought that, they are buying something together with, and offered this. Showing that why people were buying that a circular glass cutter to go and to rob something. Well, this is how AI is working now also somehow with our insurance companies. The mistakes we do, AI is reproducing. It's specifically in medicine that is really difficult. And like Ty has learned very fast. I know that everybody knows the story that the very first chatbot of Twitter became in 24 hours a Nazi. And it learned, okay, the chatbot had a girl's name, but it became Nazi. I don't know why, but because learned from us. Or in one moment, several AI companies were working together, and Google realized that their own AI system has developed a language that communicated with other computers, and human beings couldn't understand what two computers were speaking together. So somehow it looked like very strange and very scary, but the same thing helped us to help people who has really been born with the problems with their ears to be able to listen from their born vibrations. We could generate a brain activator for people who were a very long time in coma. You see, unfortunately, the men over 50, around 30% of those will make an acquaintance with this 8-arm machine, which is doing a prostatectomy. And you see surgeons are sitting and looking at how the robot is working. And this is nowadays, this is a picture of very recent. What we act, but do not really very intelligent with these old machines and with everything that is for future medicine. Sometimes we use the knowledge that we have very, let's say, unclever. Like, this is Googleable information. You can buy celebrity meat. So celebrities give a blood donation, the stem cells will be then retrieved and reproduced, and some kind of sausages were produced. And this is, imagine, FDA approved. Well, what is happening that we are not finding the situation where we started, and what is the wrong, like in these comics where the lady wants to be married because it seems that married people are more happy. And the reality is that happy people are more probable to get married. So another thing that is very known for human assumption of how the situation is or how the future is going to look like, there is a very good publication from Dr. Gustav Fischer, who showed that the storks are bringing babies, because he did the statistics of storks that are in a specific urban area and did the statistics of birds in several years between 1880 and 2000. And he didn't calculate it with the urbanization and emancipation and actually the industrial revolutions where women went to work and so on. He didn't calculate it. He just calculated the number of storks and the number of babies. And he said, okay, how many storks we have? Approximately so many kids we have. So they bring babies. So this is something that is very difficult to get into, because being honest, we all know that's not true. And the second thing about it, that all the between steps, that industrial revolution, the pollution, that storks went to more better places, gives us the idea that what we need to do about understanding our future is to have actually observational view from a very high perspective, and to not be like very narrow and to not see only 2-3 numbers and just bring together. And what we do is also very important, that to understand that we are working in an environment where we are doing so many mistakes ourselves that, well, it is estimated around 100,000 people in US die in hospitals from preventable medical errors. And what they call preventable medical errors is like mislabeling of the sample or mislabeling of a medicine. So, and these kind of errors in different levels is published, that we are doing not good, how many misproduced papers are there. And even if you use the same agent and you put that agent in different pHs, you can have here, I don't know how many doctors we have, from the first picture, which is absolutely negative, to the last picture, which is absolutely positive. People, this is the same patient. And imagine the human error if you give a patient who has no cancer treatment. So this is what we do. And what AI is doing, AI is calculating how likable is, how like the likelihood, how possible, how many percent is possible, how much percent is possible, something. And what do you think? The percentage of, is this a cat or dog? I mean, it is 92% cat and 8% dog. It presumes an AI engine of Google. So we all know this is a cat. Nevertheless, it is only 92% of cat, if they say. And if you collect all that information and count probabilities, it is sometimes very funny. But this brain you see is my own brain. And the probability that I will recover from that was 0. And you hear me? I'm here after 6 months of retrograde amnesia. So sometimes I think that the future is possible if people really want to. So in the future, we will be able to heal wounds in minutes, grow full-fledged organs, bones, repair damaged brains like mine, and much more. And what I wanna you live with is imagination is more important than knowledge. And this is my first love. And my husband is even sometimes very jealous of him. Nevertheless, imagine making big changes. And what I did with Imagine Big Changes, I wrote this book 2 years ago, 1.5, 2 years ago, together with my co-authors and many World Economic Forum young leaders, many ministers, vice ministers, and so on, who we interviewed and asked, what do you think how the future is going to look like? And this book became a bestseller of the Springer of last 5 years. And meanwhile, it is
30 seconds.
Yes, I know. It's my last. My last slide. I put it that there. So this is free to download. Download, enjoy. It is over 100,000 times already downloaded. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. On that note, I know we've run over there quite substantially. So Michael, may I ask you to do your 8 minutes, if that's okay now, please? Thank you very much.
Thanks, George. It's a pleasure to be here. I will try to be as quick as I can. Do we have someone after me?
It's just myself, so I'll be very, very quick. So I'll just take the whole time you need. Just take the 8 minutes you need.
No worries. I'll try and cut it down to 5, and that gives you 1.
It's fine, don't worry.
Right, let me share my screen. We'll get there. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we do. Yes, indeed.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Salam alaikum. My name is Dr. Michael Watts. I am an NHS doctor here in the United Kingdom, but I have recently built a tech company that builds software solutions for the United Kingdom and also for international organizations across the US and the Middle East and parts of Africa as well. I'm going to skip over who I am, but if you'd like to know more about me, you're more than welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'll also share my email address at the end of this presentation. I really wanted to touch on my experiences as a tech entrepreneur and as a physician on the experience of revolutionizing healthcare delivery. In the UK, we take a very curative approach to healthcare, which means that once someone gets unwell, as a doctor, I make them better. But if you think about other industries like the automotive, the car industry, they've taken a much more preventative approach to healthcare. And we need to start thinking like this, because curative health, it's very expensive, it's very hard to access. Whereas if we take preventative measures, then we can prevent long-term disease, which in turn saves a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of travel. So if you think about the car has innovated around the seatbelt. They have airbags. We even see automatically stopping cars to prevent crashes. Now, that money could have gone into having better fire and rescue services to take people out of crashes. But instead, the automotive industry has invested its time in making the car as safe as possible and not making the intervention of supporting a roadside collision the priority. And we need to take the same approach in healthcare. I've put a drill here. So the reason that I put a drill here is because 100% of people that buy a drill don't actually want a drill. They want a hole in the wall. And whenever we're thinking about building new innovation within healthcare, we have to think about what the problem is that we want solving. There are so many ways that you can create a hole in a wall. You can take a hammer and smash it into a wall and you'll get a hole, but it won't be 4 millimeters wide. It won't be perfectly spherical. It won't have a nice flashy light on it. So always think about the problem you're wanting to solve within revolutionizing healthcare delivery, because ultimately there are lots of people with lots of great ideas, but we need to be able to identify the problems that we wish to solve if we are to succeed in healthcare innovation. In the UK, we have a long-term plan. The long-term plan involves lots of different areas of revolutionizing delivery and the change in the way that we deliver healthcare. If you think about it, there's only 3 ways that you can really revolutionize the way that we deliver healthcare. You can prevent patients going into hospital, you can reduce down the amount of time that they spend in hospital, and you can make sure that they never come back. Now, 2 out of 3 of those happen in the community, preventing patients going into hospital and keeping patients out of hospital, which is why there's great innovations like MyCare, which George is part of that team, to prevent people going into hospital, but also to make sure that when they're out of hospital, they stay out through remote patient monitoring and supporting patients stay safe at home. And we need to start thinking like this. We need to start thinking about the technology that we have available to us to be able to support patients in the community by preventing long-term conditions and also accessing those that are hard to reach, perhaps in remote populations, perhaps those that don't speak the native first language. We need to think about how we can use digital to really support them in their care provision. And you can see here, this is a study from the Topple Review over in the United States. And you can see that as a workforce, we are becoming increasingly more reliant on these technologies. And this has been accelerated by COVID. It's really important that we give patients and the workforce the best user experience. I think we all recognize this at the bottom here as an electronic patient record. So thinking about user design and the best way to give that patient or that workforce a great experience with digital is really important. And similarly, one of the key things we're focused on and is increasingly important globally is data sharing. How can a patient move through a system where everyone has access to that data, everyone can see the patient's clinical journey, and everyone can make sure that there is continuity of care? Because if we have siloed data, we're not able to make the best decisions for our patients as healthcare professionals. And that's really important to make sure that the patient gets the best care, the most cost-effective care, the most rapid response to their recovery. Remote patient monitoring is super important. We have some amazing facilities and capabilities now. This watch actually is a SIM-only watch, so it doesn't need a smartphone to work. It doesn't need any node to work. And this was designed for Hajj, the pilgrimage within Mecca, to support patients at risk of dehydration and heat exhaustion. This can monitor vital signs and send data directly to a command center from anywhere within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So this is a really exciting project that we're working on, and you're more than welcome to hear more. Again, we have hardware devices that are now being used for things like diabetes to allow for continuous monitoring of blood glucose levels to optimize and change that patient's life experience with a long-standing disease. And the last thing I wanted to highlight is whenever we're thinking about innovation and digital transformation, we have to think about the risks associated. And so we have what we call DTAC here in the UK, which outlines some of the key responsibilities we have as innovators to transform healthcare delivery through things like digital and AI. That's all for now. So here's my email. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You can scan this code and connect with me. But thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael. On that note, that's perfect timing. Very, very nice indeed. Dr. Al-Baraki, may I pass back to you now? Because as I say, I think we are bang on time now with the next session. So if you want to use this time now to pass on to your next speakers, I'm more than happy to do that.